when we talk about traditional in the sense is the Eurocentric idea of what a relationship is, where the woman is essentially the carer of the family. She takes care of the family. The man is the provider for the family, but the woman will essentially they'll get married, have kids, and she'll take care of the kids as like a housewife. And then the man provides. And there's just, I think it's such an outdated view of what roles are in comparison to today's society, but especially as it relates to the Black community, the Black family specifically, because I remember I read an article and they were talking about this, where the Black families never really fit into that spectrum, just in general. We've never fell in the spectrum of we're going to be stay-at-home wives, taking care of the kids, because given our socioeconomic status at the time when all of these things were kind of coming into fruition in society, we've always needed to provide additional income for our families. So when we've had the chance to work, when we talk about the Black Rosies and World War II, and when opportunities actually opened up for Black women to take jobs, we had to take it. We had to stay within those roles, regardless of whether you wanted to or not. It was important for the family because we weren't in economic status to be able to stay home if we wanted to. So that never really applied to us. So when people talk about the traditional role, that was never really something that was a common thing for Black families. It was a thing for some families, for middle class, but they had done a study and they were talking about this. This was like in the 90s. They did a study where they were interviewing middle class Black families, and even within middle class Black families at that point, they were still at that point equals, way more equal than this whole Eurocentric idea of what a family looked like. When they interviewed the men felt like the women should be contributing equal to what they were contributing to, both financially as well as within the household. So I think that's where it's interesting, because when you get the idea of like the pushback of when you hear about the pushback that Black women have with the roles that have been projected onto them about you needing to take care of the kids or do this and do that, but at the same time, you're still expected to contribute half. I think that's where kind of the chasm came within the community, where it's saying we've already proven and done, Lamont mentions this in the episode where he talks about how Black women are like the most educated group in America, and that's true. We're also obviously highly educated and out-earn Black men by a significant amount. So when you talk about that, and then the idea that at the same time you have expectations for us, it causes a break for you to put a requirement on me, but you're not able to, or not actively contributing the same amount. I think that is where the chasm is caused, where we feel like, okay, you can't put these expectations on me if you're not even on my level, in that sense. So I feel like that's kind of where the issue comes into play with like power and status and who's really the keeper of the home in these relationships. But,